The ranger's radio crackled to life at dawn. "You need to see this. Now." Sarah had been a wildlife ranger in Kenya's Masai Mara for 12 years. She'd seen almost everything, but nothing could have prepared her for what she was about to witness. When she arrived at the scene, 3 other rangers were already there, cameras out, completely silent. And there, under an acacia tree, was something impossible. A lioness, a full-grown, battle-scarred lioness named Kamara, and cradled between her massive paws was a baby gazelle, barely a week old, still wobbly on its legs. But here's the thing that made Sarah's breath catch. The lioness wasn't hunting, she was protecting it. "How long has this been going on?" Sarah whispered. 2 hours, another ranger replied. "We thought she'd kill it any second, but just watch." The baby gazelle nuzzled against Kamara's fur, and the lioness, this apex predator, this killer, gently licked the tiny creature's head, like a mother would. Sarah felt tears prick her eyes. This shouldn't be possible. Lions don't do this. They can't. Every instinct, every fiber of Kamara's being should be screaming at her to hunt, to eat. She hadn't fed in 3 days. "Where's the mother?" Sarah asked, though she already knew the answer. "Hyenas got her last night. We found what was left about a mile from here." The baby gazelle should have been next. Easy prey, a quick meal. That's how nature works. That's how it's always worked. Except right now, nature was doing something different. As the sun climbed higher, something even stranger happened. Kamara stood up, and the baby gazelle stumbled to its feet. And then the lioness did something that made every ranger there question everything they knew. She started walking, slowly, looking back every few steps to make sure the baby was following. And it was. This tiny gazelle, this creature that should be running for its life, was following a lioness like it was her own cub. Sarah and the other rangers followed at a distance, documenting everything. They had to. Nobody would believe this without proof. For 3 days, Kamara protected that baby. When vultures circled overhead, she roared them away. When a pack of wild dogs caught the scent, she stood her ground, putting her own life at risk to save a creature she should have eaten. But here's where it gets even more incredible. Kamara was starving. The rangers could see her ribs starting to show. Lions need meat. They can't survive on anything else. And yet, every time her hunting instincts kicked in, every time she looked at the gazelle with those predator eyes, something stopped her. She would shake her head, almost like she was fighting herself, and then go back to grooming the baby. On the 4th morning, Sarah was watching from the jeep when she saw Kamara do something that made her grab the radio immediately. "Everyone, get here now! You won't believe this!" The lioness had brought down a small antelope. Finally, she was hunting again. The rangers watched, relieved. At least she'd eat now. She'd survive. But Kamara didn't eat. Instead, she did something extraordinary. She dragged the kill to a shaded area and called out, not her usual roar, a different sound, softer, a mother's call. And then, from the bushes, 5 young cubs appeared. Not hers. She had no cubs, but she was calling them anyway. "Those are Zara's cubs," another ranger said, voice shaking. "Zara died from an infected wound 2 weeks ago. We thought the cubs would starve." Kamara let the orphaned cubs feed, every single one of them, and the baby gazelle stood right there, watching, safe under the lioness's protection. Sarah couldn't speak. She'd studied animal behavior her entire career, and nothing in any textbook explained what she was seeing. A lioness who'd lost her own cubs months ago had somehow decided to become a mother to everyone, even to the one creature she was designed to hunt. But nature isn't a fairy tale, and everyone watching knew this couldn't last forever. On the 7th day, the baby gazelle was stronger, faster, old enough to run properly,
And that's when Kamara did the most incredible thing of all.
She led the baby to the edge of her territory, to a place where a small herd of gazelles grazed in the distance. The rangers watched through binoculars, barely breathing. Kamara sat down and gently pushed the baby forward with her nose. Once, twice. The baby didn't want to go. It turned back, nuzzling against her. But Kamara pushed again, more firmly this time. And then she did something that made Sarah start crying. She roared, not an aggressive roar, a mother's roar, the kind that says, "Go, be safe, live." The baby gazelle finally understood. It took one last look at the lioness who saved its life, and then it ran toward its own kind, toward the herd that would accept it, toward the life it was meant to live. Kamara watched until the baby reached the herd safely, and then this incredible lioness, this creature that had defied every law of nature, turned and walked back to her adopted cubs. The footage went viral. Scientists from around the world called to study it. Some said Kamara's maternal instincts had overwritten her hunting instincts due to the loss of her own cubs. Others said it was a one-in-a-million anomaly. But Sarah knew the truth was simpler and more profound than any scientific explanation. Love is stronger than instinct. Compassion is more powerful than hunger. And sometimes, even in the wild, a mother is a mother, no matter what form she takes or who she chooses to love. Kamara continued caring for Zara's cubs until they were old enough to hunt on their own. The rangers made sure she had enough food. She'd earned that much. And every evening, if you looked carefully at the edge of her territory, you could see a young gazelle grazing there. Never too close, never too far, always watching the lioness who gave up everything to give it life. Some bonds transcend nature itself. If this story touched your heart, subscribe for more incredible true stories that will restore your faith in the unexpected beauty of our world. Hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments what you think about Kamara's amazing choice.